And good morning, and welcome to this week's episode of Positive Vibes, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. And this morning, as my guest, I have my friend Lovey Ray, and she is a friend and fellow MSer. She also has multiple sclerosis, and she has an amazing story. Her story, which I did not know her whole story, we're friends on social media, met a few years ago at a get-together up north, and yeah, it's like we haven't seen each other in person since then, but we've been friends on social media, been following each other on there. And here recently, the other day, I got the newest, I was going to say the newest episode, but the newest edition of the National MS Society's magazine, Momentum. I got that in the mail and was reading through it, and I opened it up, and all of a sudden I saw Lovey and her stories in there called An Unforeseen Challenge. Anyway, I thought it was a powerful story, very powerful, and wanted to have her on my show. So, good morning, Lovey.
Good morning, Jay. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, love it. I'm glad we could get together and glad you could make the trek down here.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad drive, so I love that.
Right on. Well, yeah, that time of day, it's pretty easy going on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe an hour or two later. Yeah, it'll start getting thicker traffic with church starting up and everything, but possibly. I don't know what's going on these days, whether it's all started back up. I've heard that some places some churches have opened back up, but that not everyone's going there. They're, watching services virtually at home on their computers, which is where life has gone a lot.
It has, yeah, definitely. That's usually how I do things right now. So
yeah, it's like have virtual meetings, and a lot of businesses are doing things virtually and everything. And I've even watched a couple of church services, virtually, and Eric Thomas. E.T. the hip hop preacher.
Oh, okay.
He's a reverend, and I've watched his a couple of his church services on Facebook Live, and I've watched actually the church I was going to Revive Church in Auburn. I've watched a couple or a few of their services on their Facebook Live. So, that was pretty cool. Being able to be there, but not really there.
Right. Yeah. That's how I watch my church services the majority of the time. I go to church in Snohomish, and so, once the shutdown happened, I was forced to have to watch it online, which is great. At the same time, I found me a different church as well that I enjoy watching online too. So I watch both of them in the mornings instead, which is really, really nice. So yeah.
Right on. Double the service, double the worship.
Hey, I love my worship. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Right on. Okay, and I guess I'll just get right into it. I sent you these so you know what I'm going to be asking, not going at this blindly. But I just sort of read through your article and picked stuff out of there to talk about, ask questions about. So you started out by saying and I totally relate to pretty much almost all of your story. It's and you start out by saying it's a lifetime balancing act while juggling new challenges all the time. Hence the title of your article, An Unforeseen Challenge. And you had said that it's been that way ever since you were you said in the article you were a 5-year-old black girl adopted into a Norwegian German family, never feeling like you fit in. What happened to your biological family, your biological parents?
So I was born to a single mom, and I had a couple other siblings older than me, but at that time she was just struggling in her life, and I was actually put up for foster care, but some things happened in transition where that the people that I was adopted by asked if they could adopt me, and so that's why I ended up there. And so it was a challenge to fit into a family that already had 3 biological kids, 3, should I say, white biological kids, and then being, the black child. Of course, we adopted 3 more children after I was adopted, so there's a total of 4, and then made a total of 7 kids in the family. But yeah, I just never fit in, and I don't know if it was because I was already 5 years old and I already knew about my biological older siblings. I knew already about who my mom was, had photos already of her and my dad. So I never, I didn't begin as a baby, an infant, knowing nothing. I actually knew something. And then that just progressed, life was pretty good. I grew up homeschooled. And, I thought things were great. But then I started being molested by my adoptive father. And when that finally came out when I was 17, my mom's solution to it was to ship me off to Mississippi, which is 2,600 miles away from here, knowing nothing, not being a troubled girl of any kind, as a way to kind of get me out of that situation. And so our relationship is pretty strained at the moment, but I've tried to bridge that gap. So I've worked really hard to try to overcome that particular challenge. And then, of course, MS makes it even a new challenge on top of it. So
yeah. Man, that's quite a bit to happen to you at that age and that young. And it's like, I relate to, or I know my mom's adopted parents up in Enumclaw. They took my mom in as a foster kid. I think she was their first foster kid, and then ended up adopting her later on. And they have, in total, my Aunt Tina, she's my black aunt. Tina Stenson, she was adopted. Actually, right. She was born here in Tacoma, but it's like in that family unit, I have, I forget whether 13 was the total number they adopted or the total number of kids. My grandma had 2 kids, 2 boys from her previous marriage, my uncles Mark and Craig, and then adopted, the rest. Yeah. And took in numerous foster kids through the years, that would be at the house for a short time and then gone. Right. But it's or at least a few. But anyway, yeah. So I'm familiar with all that, and it's definitely a lot of. I don't know. In my mind, I can definitely see how wanting to fit in, but maybe not. Yeah. And just the challenge brought up by that. Yeah. Exactly. And actually myself, I was my dad got remarried when I was 4, and my stepmom actually adopted me 2 or 3 years later. legally adopted me because my mom, my biological mom, was living in California, and just in case something happened where dad couldn't be present, she wanted to have be able to have the power to take me to the doctor or hospital or
Right.
whatever
Yeah.
if she needed. Plus it's like she was my mom at that point.
Right. Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so they shipped you off to Mississippi at 17. And I was wondering the next part of your story was, you stated that you were in the military. What branch of the military? Like, when did you go into the military?
Yeah.
And what branch?
Yeah, so after I was in Mississippi for about 7-8 months or so, and I turned 18 while I was down there, and the only thing I knew of where home was here in Washington. So I came back by bus back here, and being homeless, streets of Olympia, not knowing where do I go, knowing that I felt like I had no friends, I had no family. I started looking into different things to do, to have some place to call home. And one of the things was the military. And so I, tried calling around different branches. Mind you, I didn't have a high school diploma at all. And so I ended up going into the Army. And I went National Guard. Was going to try to go to school, back to school, get my GED and stuff like that with them. But because of challenges with my children, by the time I finished with my basic training and all of that stuff, I ended up I had 2 kids. By the time I was really settled into my unit, which was up in Everett. And so, and I had gotten into marriage and, of course, like I said, had the 2 kids. And I wanted to make that a career. I loved it. I enjoyed every moment of it. But being in a marriage that ended up being with an abusive man, I had to choose. Do I get shipped off? Of course, this is about 9/11. So do I get shipped off with my unit, and to help support my country? Or do I stay and take care of my children? Where's my responsibility lie? And so I chose my children. And thank goodness I did, because my son, who's now 18, his father's actually in prison. And so I'm very grateful that I made that choice, while at the same time I felt guilty because I had left a really good career for it. But every day my kids remind me that I had made a smart choice. And so, yeah, I did 4 years, 4 years military, which, with an open-ended, check to Uncle Sam that anytime, if they are needing me again, I'd be happy to go with it. But of course, now with MS, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Another challenge or roadblock thrown up by MS.
Right.
We just got to keep on rolling with the punches.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and you say you were single with 2 kids at that point. How old were your kids? Your 2 kids?
They were. My oldest daughter is now 18. She was about 2, and my also now 18-year-old son was about a year old.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were still pretty much babies.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see how you'd want to stay home, and not be shipped off.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, and you stated you were diagnosed in 2014 at age 31, and I just like to point out that I relate with that because I was diagnosed in 2007 at age 31, and it was a couple months before I turned 32, I guess. I was told it was a good thing they found it when I was relatively young, which I don't know, 31, go figure. From what I hear, there's they're finding young kids with MS. So it's like, how is 31 young, compared to that?
Right.
But and I was wondering, was that your case? Did they tell you that when you were diagnosed at 31?
Yeah, I mean, technically they could have found it out about 10 years earlier when I would have been about 21 or so. Because my real first episode, I had lost feeling from my waist down, and I had no sense of, I couldn't be mobile. And I'm living as a single mom with 2 little kids and living in a homeless shelter, trying to manage 2 young kids. And they ended up just saying, hey, go do physical therapy and you'll be fine. So no one ever actually looked into it. Yeah. So now fast forward 10 years later, I had already been having sexual function issues, that whole sex drive desire had gone out the window after the birth of my 4th child. And it always seemed like it was an elephant in the room that had no name. Like, I know something's causing me mood issues. I know something's causing me issues with my memory. I know I'm having trouble. I'm dealing with tiredness all the time. Like, I scroll back through my memory of my Facebook and it's like, I'm tired. And that should have been a clue from way back then. But being diagnosed was such a relief. I wasn't scared about it. I was relieved because I could put a name to why I was feeling the way I was. And that, gave me, made me change my thought process, gave my life purpose. Okay, I've got this thing. What do I do with it? And it made me slow down and I need to spend more time with my kids. I need to make every moment of my life count. And so then it led into, of course, I was like, oh, cool. I've got this diagnosis. No big deal. I'll continue on with my life. And the doctor's like, well, no, hold on a second here. It doesn't work that way. We need to actually get you started on medication, like now. I was like, what's the big deal? It's no big deal. I've been dealing with this for how long? Like, whatever. Thanks. Let me go. But she instantly started me on medication. So instantly went to, Avonex, Tecfidera, Gilenya, and now I'm on Tysabri, which is an infusion. Yeah. And it's, keeps me stable, but I'm just grateful that I'm able to, put a name to why I feel what I feel. And I got tired and started getting tired and feeling guilty about why I was always telling my kids, I'm so tired. Mom can't do this today because she's too tired. I'm sorry, I can't do that tomorrow because I'm going to be too tired from what I'm doing today. Right. So it was actually a blessing to finally have that diagnosis. Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that because I was, like I've told you, I was in a bad car wreck and that triggered my MS. Symptoms, and that went on for, and it's like, in the first place, I couldn't really tell whether, I had a hard time differentiating the actual MS symptoms from, symptoms of multiple sclerosis as opposed to symptoms from my traumatic brain injury or, residuals that I may be having that were kicked up by this car accident. And so far as I even saw the MRI and they said MS lesions, and I'm going, MS lesions, those are the bruises from my, from my brain injury. Those are scars from that. And, gotcha. It's like, cause they're in about the same spots. I still have copies of the, CAT scans and MRIs from way back then. It's like, okay, what's going on here, but I find, it didn't take long and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. The bruises would be sort of gone by now, and any scarring would be minimal, and these are definitely prominent. So yeah, they're lesions. Yeah. So yes, okay, I have MS, but I read in your article that you had done your research, and I had done my research on MS. Between the first appointment, when the neurologist down here at St. Clair's in Lakewood said I might have MS, he was 95% sure, wanted me to go get checked out. I went to Lily Jung up there at Swedish, and she said, she's an MS specialist, and she's like, yep, you definitely have it. In those 3 months between those two appointments,
Yeah.
I had done my research.
Yeah, well, my appointments wasn't even 3 months. I mean, I learned my diagnosis within maybe a month's time. Like, it was boom, 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 boom. And again, mine was, of course, after a car accident, and I started losing vision. Had no peripheral or nothing, or what I like to call my spidey sense. Like, my people or my kids will still come up behind me and they'll scare me just because I can't sense them coming anymore. And here I am, driving around and I can barely see, because, my vision's so foggy and cloudy. And I'm thinking, oh, what the heck did the car accident do to me that caused this bad, And then it just, like I said, it just went down from there. The spinal tap, the MRIs, the spinal tap, the vision tests over and over and over again, What happened? And of course, the time I was working a really nice job, which was really nice. I loved it. I was working at a wedding venue, which I went to school for event planning. That was actually my dream job as a child, was to have my own wedding planning business. And so I went, so here I'm working at this venue thinking, great, finally founded my dream job to help push me to that bigger dream job. And after the accident, the guy was a real big jerk. And I was like, and he let me go. And I was like, thank goodness. I'm so grateful that I went, because there's no way I could have worked in that year after my diagnosis and trying to figure out this new lifestyle that I'm having now to lead. And thankfully I, tried to find a new job because I'm a single mom with, 4 kids. And I landed this wonderful job at a chiropractor's office called North Star Chiropractic in Northgate. And my boss was really understanding. Like, I didn't even tell him from the get-go that I had MS. He just read my resume and was like, well, I could tell that you probably did, because it says on there that I was a volunteer for the MS Society, So I gave it away. But I've been there now 6 years, and he has been so understanding and so so teachable about what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through. He's, he cares about me as a person. And, not just that I'm working for a doctor and I get, free chiropractic care,
Right.
But, if I'm just having a bad day and I can't think properly, then he gives me the grace to take a break, take time that I need to, get myself put together. My other coworker, she's wonderful, and as well, and knowing that, hey, if Lovey's making these mistakes, just give her grace and just fix them for her, because sometimes the brain fog gets in there, the cognitive of, making sure I don't switch numbers around can get in there. And so it's actually been the best job I've ever had,
Right on. And
while it's not a field I had wanted to go into to begin with, because I still have my dream of wanting to have an event planning business one day. This is my dream right here, right now. And hey, pays the bills, take care of my kids. So that's what's important,
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal. Just, take care of, what you got to do to get by, and take care of the people you love.
Yeah,
your family.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess, I'm going through my notes here, and I guess, that was your sort of entrance into your life with MS, and how you felt and thought about it. It's like, and I totally understand and relate with that. It's sort of like on one hand, being in denial about it and being like, is this really what's happening? And then, okay, that's what's happening. So this is what we got to do,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had already been through so much in my life since I was a child, and then growing up in a, even though I was things didn't turn out like I had hoped in my childhood life. I did grow up in a Christian home, and I did learn those Christian values, and I did learn, I grew strength. God gave me strength to make it through each of those situations I had been through. If it wasn't for the fact that I had my faith and that I relied solely on that, because one of the things of the verses in the Bible talks about that God is a father to the fatherless, and I had already been fatherless for so long, and I had nobody else to rely on. So every single time I was going through a challenge, I defaulted back to that. Every single time. Still. Even now, I'm not saying I'm perfect and that I'm like holier than art thou and all this, but I'm just saying, wanting people to understand that this is why I am strong like I am. Yes, I have dealt with depression so many times. I've gone so deep in my depression that I couldn't even get out of bed to take care of my kids some days. And then my kids were trying to feed themselves because I couldn't get out of bed. I've dealt with anxiety so much so that I've had major panic attacks going out. We're dealing with Corona right now. We've dealt with the whole Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that, where, people are just, hating on each other for no reason. And it's like, for me, I don't see black and white because I grew up learning to see gray. I learned to see everyone as the same. And it, again, reverts back to because of the way I was brought up in my faith that helps me be able to see things on a broader spectrum. So when it reverts back to me and my health and my MS, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. Because I knew I was getting into that depression trap, I knew I needed to do something about this diagnosis. The only way for me to see through it was going to be to figure out how I could use it to my advantage. And that's what led me to, volunteering with the MS Society. That led me to being a part of an MS group. I actually had a friend who took me to my first MS walk MS in 2015. That was the first time I took my daughter with me. That was my first experience. Like I literally bought myself a sweatshirt, got all dolled up, in the orange. Like I was excited. And then I met Susan, who was the group leader of the Marysville MS Self-Help Group at the time. And she invited me to the group. And I was scared to go to the group because I'm like, I'm going to be the youngest, because when you think of support groups, you think of all these really old people. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be the youngest at this group. Like, I'm not going to fit in. But the moment I went to the group, not only did they make me feel welcome and I ended up fitting in. I mean, I was the only black person. I was the youngest and the only black woman there. But then found out there's another black guy that's going to the group. There are men and women who are both going to this group. I fell in love with these people, and because we were all talking about things that I was going through, even though they were older than me, I was like, that doesn't even matter anymore, And so from that, I just got so engrossed and so involved in it. I ended up becoming co-leader of the group. And just a couple years ago, I actually became the sole leader of the group. And so it's been a blessing to be able to use what I've learned, the trials I've gone through in my life for this purpose. I've always wanted to be, some type of motivational speaker or whatever. And how can I use all these things that I've learned? And God's just put it in my lap that, hey, you know what? We're going to take your MS combined with everything else that you've gone through in life, and we're just going to use that for whatever I need to use it for. And I'm like, cool, here I am, So, it's actually been a blessing. It's like, people would think, oh my gosh, MS, a blessing. Actually, it is a blessing because now I found a purpose. I feel like I have a purpose. I don't feel like I'm just a single stay-at-home mom with, 5 kids and working a job, 5 days a week. I've actually got a little bit of extracurricular, purpose going on, and I love it.
Yeah, that's just so awesome. About you're finding this group and, going in reluctantly, and then, just walking in the door. And I know that feeling because, and going in reluctantly and then ended up leading the meeting now.
Yeah.
It's like, I started going to 12-step meetings when I was 16, got clean and sober, started going to 12-step meetings. I was reluctant for a couple of years since I first started thinking I might need to go, or might like to go, whatever, it would be good for me to go. And then it was like, I was reluctant, and then I went and bam, I was home.
Yeah.
When I walked in that door.
Exactly.
And got along with everyone, related with everyone, regardless of individual circumstances. I related, and it's like, and then it's like not too much into it. I was chairing meetings, making coffee and then chairing meetings.
Yeah.
It's just amazing just to be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Yep, exactly.
And definitely. Oh, and I wanted to touch on that. You were talking about how it's like, at first you were like, oh man, I don't know about this MS, I'm not really down with that. And now you're like, and it's evolved into, now it's like you're using it, wanting to use it to help others.
Yeah.
And, using your own experience with it. And that's what I'm doing. And I totally relate with that.
Yeah. Wanting
to help others who may be in that spot that we used to be in, where it's like, sort of, as you were saying, in denial about it and being like, I don't know about all this, I'm not down with that. And okay, whatever, let's move forward.
Yeah.
And
well, there's a lot of people who are in that position, it's kind of interesting. A lady reached out to me that actually lives not far from here, and she was so grateful to have seen my article in the magazine, because she said, I was diagnosed, several years ago, or I think it was about 2015 or so. And she's like, I don't know any Black women that have MS. I don't know anybody. And now I know one, and it's like, that's exactly the reason why I put myself out there. I wear my heart on my sleeve and tell my story. Yes, there's not all parts of it are is a bed of roses, but I want people to know that, hey, I'm struggling with the same things you are. And that is why I do this, so that you are not alone in this at all. I don't care if you live in Alaska and you're in and you live somewhere where you have no friends. If you have MS and you hear me or see my story somewhere, whether it's on a podcast or from TV or it's in a magazine or whatever, just know that you're not alone. And that's the whole point. We are in this together. We are a family, an MS family.
Yeah.
And by doing these things, it gives somebody else comfort, from what I've been through, so that they hurt less.
Yeah, exactly. I was just reflecting on the our local MS group here in Tacoma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meets at Tacid.
Okay.
Tacoma. Let me see if I got this. Tacoma Area Center for Individuals with Disabilities.
Okay. All right.
And
nice.
Anyway, back years ago when I was like 11 or 12, my parents took me to Tacid. I went to a brain injury support group meeting there a few times, and I don't know whatever happened to that, but I quit going. And then here in recent years, a couple of years ago, I started going there for the MS support groups.
Yeah.
And anyway, when I first started going, I went in sort of, even though, I'm familiar with going to support groups and everything throughout my life, I went into this MS support group sort of reluctantly, like, oh boy, what's all this about? I guess I'll go since they're suggesting it, and I'll see what's up, see what's happening. So I went in, and it's like you're saying, I was welcomed right away.
Yeah.
And as with all the other, support groups I've been to in my life, I shouldn't have gone in reluctantly, just been like, oh, cool, support group.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I went in, and it was like that. It was like I was welcome, and they actually have dinners there.
Nice.
And go in, have dinner. It turns out to be a potluck dinner, sort of. And then it's like, bring in food if you can or whatever.
Right.
Or at least I always bring food to add to it.
Yeah.
And whenever I have gone, although right now because of COVID, it's not happening. It's all gone virtual. But
of course,
it's like another system of support that I have to lean on. And if I need resources, specifically regarding my multiple sclerosis, then I can, reach out to that group and someone in the group will have the info.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I love about having this support. I love the MS Society in general is that they have such a great resource in amongst themselves, with the navigators that just, you call them and hey, boom, you can get whatever you're needing help with, and if they don't know, they will take the time to find out for you. And so, it's great. I've had people say, hey, I need help with this. I'm like, okay, here's the number for the navigators, give them a call and let them know what you need, but I love going to my group. I'm so sad that we haven't been able to meet, over the last year because of COVID. And I'm really looking forward to when we finally do get to, back together again to meet. Because we used to do potlucks like twice a year, and so I'm excited. Once we get back together again, we'll do a really nice big potluck, and but it's just nice to have that support in whatever shape or form. We all have our own different little support groups, like the MS Society and my friends at the MS, my MS group are one big support group, and then I've got because I didn't have family, I created my own, right? So my piano teacher who she taught me piano when I was little, she's been my mom for the last 15 years now. She took me under her wing, and then I have another lady in my church who became my mom a few years ago, and about 4 or 5 years ago. And so, I've got those two families, and then I met a great group of friends, in the middle of COVID last year, for support. And so I've got another great group of friends that I spend a lot of time with, now we have a amazing, supportive, boyfriend who's been through health challenges of his own, so he can relate to my health challenges. And, we go to the gym together, which exercise is amazing. Okay. I just have to throw that in there because I'm going to the gym 4 times a week now. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I've not felt so good in so long. I can't believe it, how much COVID kept me homebound. It was ridiculous. So, to do things together, to find support in whatever situation you're going through, and then to do things together, have people that encourage you. If I didn't have any of that encouragement along the lines, so I could stop. I feel like I have to prove myself because I've spent all my life trying to prove that I'm a good person. I can do this by myself. I can do this by myself. But then have people come along and be like, you don't need to try so hard. It's okay. We still love you. We still got your back. Just keep doing you, keep being the best mom you can be, keep being the, taking care of your health. Self-care is very important. So, I don't see myself quitting anytime. I love what you said, what you messaged me, hey, it's not over until it's over, and I don't say it's over. So neither am I, I'm not saying I'm done. I've got a long way to go. So ain't nothing going to keep me back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's, we were chatting last night and I messaged you that, and it's like, throughout my life, I've had so many challenges with the brain injury, and then, a self-imposed challenge with the drinking and drugging and that whole thing in my teens, and running away from home along with that, and smoking cigarettes and everything that went with that.
Right.
And, and then it's like car accidents and marriage, divorce, not necessarily the marriage, but the divorce, being
right. Mm-hmm.
a challenge to get through. And it's like then another car accident, multiple sclerosis as a result, learning to live with the disease, dealing with the side effects from the treatment, and then scrapping the treatment. And, now, I'm just purely exercise and diet are my treatment.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. Not everything, it's not a one size fits all for everybody,
Yeah.
I love, and that's why, I love your story. You're out there running every single day. And if I think about running, it just already makes me exhausted. There is no way I'm running, but I know what works for me. And it's, I can go to the gym several days a week, and I can work on making sure I eat proper and make sure I get good sleep. And then for me, it's also about my my mental health. So, making sure I'm spending time with friends and my family, and enjoying those type of things, that's for me, that's important, and I love it, and I've got, and then, also with this whole thing too is, using this as a teaching guide for my kids. That's what's also important to me is, which is why, I brought my son with me, because I like my kids to see how I'm using something that could seem so negative for us in a positive way. And so, my son, just helped do a video for the MS Society's, Day of Champions. Him and his brother, they did answer some questions, about what it's like living with me, with a mom that's dealing with MS. And, my daughter has gone with me to my 2 different tapings of New Day Northwest that I've done over the couple years. They go to the MS Walk with me. If I'm going to my support group, they're coming with me, helping me, brings decorations and lug all the materials and things like that. I want them to be involved so they understand that this is not just because I have it doesn't mean I have to sit back and I don't do anything, I can't do anything anymore, and stuff. And then teaching them in different ways, what is it like having MS, whether it's teaching them about the spoon theory, as a form of energy, or we're talking about, well, in a child's terms nowadays, it would be talking about like your phone battery dying, and you keep trying to charge it, but it's not charging very fast, or the lesions or the myelin, on your nerves, shredding. And it's like your charger cord is shredded and now you're trying to duct tape it, over and over and over again. But you can't fix the wiring, type of a thing. It's been the best way to explain to my kids about what I'm experiencing and what I go through. And they are my biggest help. They help me at home with cleaning and watching the younger one who's about to be 4 this week. And if it wasn't to have their help in the house, my place would probably look just as bad as somebody's house on Hoarders, because I ain't got energy to do anything. I go to work, I come home, I take care of kids, I'm beat, So I definitely give my kids props.
Right on. I was wondering about that. I was wondering about all that, how you did it. But yeah, if you got your kids helping out like that, that's amazing. That's right on. I can say that I don't think I was ever like that as a kid, helping out that much. But I did my chores most of the time, and that was about it. Actually, I do remember just sitting there watching my little brother while he was watching TV, and my, mom would go to the store and come back, and that would be that, and he'd just sit there watching TV. So, oh well, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that's cool that your kids, help out and take care of each other like that for you, keep everything moving. Yeah, I love it how you're so into, how you're so positive about, having your multiple sclerosis, moving forward with it instead of just, being in denial about it, and, being progressive with it.
Well, I don't know what I've always had a positive outlook on things, and I don't know, it definitely is all about not feeling like you're stuck in the mud. I kind of felt like that at the beginning. Once I really started letting it sink in, like I just froze. And I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do now? Where do I go from here? Because mind you, it was also after a car accident, so I'm dealing with all of those challenges and then losing my job and juggling, kids, and what do I go from here? But I've always known that being optimistic and staying positive it's what works for me. It always has. It just does. Yeah, okay, yes, I do have my moments where I am, I do get pissed off. I get angry. I get very upset. Hey, yeah, I say my kids are, good at what they, helping out, but sometimes they do irritate me at times, and I do get upset, about how things are in the state that that my life is in sometimes. But positivity has been the one thing that always has gotten me through. I just can't help it, to find the positive, because if I don't, then that's where you find you find the depression. Yeah. The depression is in the negative. If you start thinking negative thoughts about the situations, then you're going to be depressed and you're not going to have a good life, happy or whatnot. So I have to. It's the only way for me to move forward. It's about faith. It's about family, and it's about me taking care of myself in self-care and staying positive. And with all of those wrapped together, that's what pushes me forward. So faith, family, friends, and in the middle is me, making sure I have my self-care.
Yeah. That's awesome that you have that circle of support.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And, I struggle with, I one of the things I had to do with this, and I don't remember if I put it in there, but I definitely had to push away any negativity that was in my life. There's people out there that are, oh, woe is me, let's say, for instance, you get in a car accident, oh, woe is me, my car is ruined, and then they just don't do anything about it. They don't try to find a new car. They don't try to use the bus to try to get them around as a temporary means. They just sit and just be sad and unhappy and miserable. And then they pass that on to others. Oh yeah, woe is me. I don't, I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything, and try to make other people feel guilty about their situation. Me, that's not me. If that's how you feel, then I'm sorry for you, but for me, it's not that. The moment there's a bad situation, okay, I'll take a moment and go, okay, this is a bad moment. Yes, I'm really pissed off that this moment happened. Now, what do I do to fix it? I can't sit and be sad and wallow in it. I got to figure out what to do to fix it and how to move on and keep going, because I've got 5 younger ones that are looking up to me and needing me to guide them. And if I can't even control myself, how am I supposed to guide them and teach them? Right. Mm. So I don't have the luxury and time to sit and wallow in self-pity for anything. I don't have time to let MS control me. I'm controlling my MS. Pain or no pain. I mean, this last week I was in severe pain, but instead of it letting it, keep me down and keep me from doing not doing things that I needed to do, I moved on anyways, shy of tears, but I kept going anyways, because my kids got goals and I want to be there for them. My 15-year-old is wanting a career in football, and I'm trying to be there right on his side, I'm attending his football games, I'm recording them for him and doing all of this stuff. So I don't have the luxury to sit around. I need to support my kids just as much as they support me.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love your attitude. And I'd just like to go back a little bit. I stated that you're progressive. Yeah. And I would just like to clarify that you do not have progressive MS, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Relapse and remitting.
Relapsing,
Yes.
remitting. Okay,
Yes.
I figured so.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear because I said that and then immediately after and you started talking, I'm like, oh shoot, I hope people don't think that I stated that she has progressive MS because that wasn't meant to what I said.
Yeah. No, I've been in relapse and remitting since diagnosis. So it doesn't look like it's progressing to progressive stage. But no, I've been staying pretty stable the last couple of years.
Okay, right on. That's very good news.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm at the same stage, relapse remitting.
Right.
And from what the last they told me, I'm at the very beginning stages. So, I just keep on exercising and keeping a good diet.
Yeah.
And
We're responsible for our own health.
Yeah, it's like, and what you were saying about self-care, we got to do what we need to do for ourselves in living with this disease.
Yep.
To keep on going so that we can keep on going.
Exactly. Yeah. Keep on going on. That's what I do, Yeah. That's why I love one of my favorite movies I love is Meet the Robinsons because it's all about keep going forward. I love that. Just keep going forward. Or you got Dory, right? The fish, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. That's me. I just keep going forward.
Yeah, I totally hear that. Here recently, well, you've seen that recently I was in 2 car accidents within 4 days of each other. And, now it's like, got some other stuff going on and some other big stuff. And it's like, having to, it's like, I don't know what's going on here, but, all you can do is keep moving forward and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, taking the next indicated step and keeping faith that everything will be okay in the end. And usually it turns out that way.
Yeah, it's all about just keep going forward. It's just, even if it's going slow. Who won the race, the rabbit or the hare? Right? Or I'm sorry, the tortoise or the hare. Like who won the race, right? You don't have to be fast. Sometimes it's just you need to go take a slow snail's pace and just keep moving and then speed yourself up again, and that's what I do. I mean, I was in my car accident in January, myself, and it was like, oh no, let's not start this year this way because. Funny thing is, it was almost exactly 4 or 5 years after, or 5 years, no, 7 years, I'm sorry, 7 years after my last accident, the one that I got diagnosed with. And I was like, oh my gosh, are we really doing this again? But it slowed me down for just a little bit. But then, I got the wheels spinning, new car, get my health back, get me fixed, get me back to where I need to be, yada, yada, yada. And, I'm back on the tracks, just going full speed ahead again. So
it's life is like that. It's like I can especially relate with the car accident thing. It's like you slow down for a while and super cautious, and of course I'm still at that state right now since it's not too long since those 2 accidents I spoke of. But in the past, after car accidents, I'd go slow for a while and then speed back up.
Right.
And it would be being cautious, but speeding back up and getting back to a regular pace.
Yeah, you regain that confidence back that you once had.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at a little bit. So I have to remind myself, take it easy. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I know we still got a few minutes, but before I totally space it, which I've been known to do to the very last second before, what is your contact info in case anyone wants to get a hold of you?
Yeah, if anyone wants to get a hold of me, they can find me they can email me at loveyray@hotmail.com. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. My Instagram is MS Fighter for Life, I believe. Life is spelled LYFT. LYF. I don't know. Anyways, you can find me. My picture's everywhere.
Yeah, and,
I'm also doing I also have an Instagram, cooking Instagram too, called Lovey's Kitchen. My kids helped me start that since I like to cook, so it's kind of something, a little extra hobby that I started to do. But yeah, look for me, Lovey Ray.
Okay, right on. And yeah, and I'll have to tag you on the post so that
for sure.
So that I'll put your contact info in the comments or along with the post, maybe in a caption or what have you.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah. And let's see, was there anything else? I thought there was something else I wanted to touch on. Yeah. Oh, you were talking about well, I don't know. I just have written down here in my notes that yeah, I guess we went over that, but I hear you talk about the denial regarding the disease and totally relate with that. At least I didn't think it was a big deal since my talent is rolling with the punches. And it's like that's what we do with this disease, though. Is just, and I love the way you just, keep moving forward, keep on swimming. It's like, okay, we got this. Now, what do we do about it? After you got through that initial denial phase, and it's like, that's what we got. That's what we got to do. And it's like, in the very beginning, I might have been in a little bit of denial about it, but now it drives me.
Yeah.
To keep moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I have started a little bit of a manuscript for my own personal biography, my own personal book. And the title for my life has always been "Who Am I?" Because the challenges that I had as a child and felt like I didn't fit in, and everywhere I went, I felt like I wasn't fitting in, wasn't finding what I wanted to do in life. What was going on? Thought my life was, well, who am I? Okay, I'm a mom, right? And then it was, okay, crap. Now I've got this disease. Now who am I? Okay, am I this person with the disease? Well, no, I don't want to be known as Lovey, the person with MS, the person with the disease. And so that's what, and then it's driven me to go, okay, well, who am I now? I'm a person who is outspoken about my disease and how it actually, who has turned this negative situation into a positive one. So, it's just, who am I? I'm just a woman single mom of 5 who just keeps moving forward. That's who I am.
Right on. That's probably the best outlook you could have on it.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Keep it positive, keep it moving forward.
Yeah. Through all the unforeseen challenges.
Yeah, definitely. Life is a series of unforeseen challenges, and then they become seen challenges, and it's just one long string of challenges, or whatever. And it's like, parts of it are easy to get through, and parts of it are harder to get through. But it's
not a smooth road.
That's right.
It's not a smooth road. Some roads are windy, and some you're able to go at full speed, and some you're having to go slow, and some you don't have cell service when you're trying to drive through them roads either, so you're on your own, so it's just, it's just about where are you at in your time of life, and if, for anybody, if they need support of any kind, they've got the navigators of the MS Society who are great. Like I said, gave my contact info so that people can reach out to me if they, want some extra support. I'm happy to support anybody to give them that boost and do pass on the love and support others have given me.
Yeah. Then that's the awesome part, is that, it's, while speaking in MS particularly, while MS is known as a snowflake disease, where everyone has it differently in their own personal life.
Yeah.
different symptoms, different onset, different life with MS, whereas that's all different. We all have it. And, people with MS, we all have it. And we can, support each other and help each other out with certain aspects.
Yeah.
And if you need help, call the navigators, at the National MS Society. Just call that number and, at the MS Society, and they'll let you know how, where to go for the specific help you may need. And they may be able to help you right there.
Yep, exactly.
But I just noticed it's that time and
Perfect.
at the end of the show. So I just want to thank you so very much for driving down here this morning and being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It was so much fun to be here.
Yeah. And it's just so awesome that we can get together, and, share with others our experience with living with this disease, and, share our brand of positivity with other MSers and the world.
Exactly.
And,
definitely.
So I just want to thank you so very much for coming down here. And with that, I guess I'll wrap it up by just saying, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and stay positive, or stay kind, optimistic, and grateful, and positive, and have a phenomenal day and a phenomenal week. And I will see you next Sunday at the same time, 8 o'clock a.m. here on VT Radio Universal. Thank you, and peace out. Did I just say that? Later.